Yo, what's going on, guys? Fluffy back with another Clash Royale video, and we've got an absolute banger today. I am number one in the world, first time ever, and I made this super boosted broken deck myself, but it's somewhat close to lava freeze, just without the lava and a bunch of broken cards instead. But I'm just gonna be showing you guys the games that got me there, and hope y'all enjoy. All right, first game we're up against GZX, who is honestly like maybe the best Golem player of all time. That's kind of a controversial take, but to me, like this guy always plays Golem in every meta, and he always uses different versions and weird decks that no one else can use, and he's always high with them. Like this guy is honestly just a go. I have a lot of respect for him. Um, but yeah, I like with this deck that I'm using, I literally just made it like 3 days ago. I was just experimenting with Evo E-Barbs and Hero Tombstone and now Rune Giant because all of them got a buff. Um, and Lava is really bad this season, so I was looking for something else, and I just threw these cards together with, like my Eye Drag, Skelly Drags, threes that I'm comfortable with, and I guess I made like the most broken deck in the meta accidentally, so that's definitely not what I was going for, but hey, I mean, if we're able to get to number one with it, no complaints from me. And so I didn't know exactly what version GZX was using here, because like I said, he switches his cards a lot, but Golem in general is always good for me, because I have Eye Drag, E-Barbs, Freeze, so he can never really get a lot of damage with Golem unless I make some kind of mistake. So in single, I don't really want to be too crazy aggressive, especially because he has Dark Prince and Musketeer. Both of those cards are very good against me. Dark Prince is good against E-Barbs, and I don't have any spell for the Musketeer, just like my regular Lava Freeze deck, so it gets a lot of value against both my Dragons and whatever else. I go Drag at the bridge here because he doesn't have his Musketeer in cycle, and then now E-Barb's opposite lane because he has to defend my Rune Giant Drag, and I freeze the E-Barb and Dark Prince, just get more value out of both my E-Barbs and my Drag. We get one spear on the tower, which is fine, but the main thing is we come out of that up elixir. He just fireballs the Skelly Drags, that's fine by me. I should have put them maybe a little bit higher so he couldn't hit tower, but either way we retain our lead, and now he doesn't have fireball for my Demolishers, and Rune Giant with Demolisher is turbo broken, like the buff it gets is like so huge. He does a good zap Skellies to kill it, but it still connects on tower, so we will always take that. And I think I just let this one spear go, that's not a problem. And he doesn't have a fireball in cycle, so I can go Skelly Drags in the back. And I knew he was gonna Evo Musketeer, so I went Rude Giant to block it, and also because he doesn't have fireball in cycle, so I knew defending these Skelly Drags could get annoying for him. And with the boosted shots, they take out the Dark Prince. And he goes Golem. I think that's a huge mistake, because now I can just go Evo E-Barb's opposite lane, and I have Evo Drag for defense, so even if he somehow defends, I'm fine. I freeze those E-Barbs because I knew he played them at 0, so he's still going to have to defend. He goes for a Musketeer, which was a good play from him, but now I can just go Evo Drag, and he can't kill it at all if it's that low. So I just go Rune Giant to make sure I protect it, Demolisher as well, and I think I go E-Barbs here too. I forgot. Oh, I go opposite lane, yep, that's good. And then freeze these again. I always want to be freezing the E-Barbs that he plays because I don't want him to get a counter push, and I prediction arrow the skeletons, but I thought the E-Barb was going to go to the tower. Unfortunately, it went to the Musketeer. If that went to the tower, that would have been really nice, possibly game-winning play, but either way, we're looking good. Even though the damage-wise we're close, like, at this point in the game, if he goes Golem, I can just spam everything opposite lane and he can't defend it, which he knows as well, so that's why, he's just cycling his Phoenix, E-Barbs. Like, he just knows if he goes Golem, he loses. I cycle my Tombstone, and he misses his Fireball. I thought this was GG here because I just was gonna go everything at the bridge, E-Barbs, and then freeze as well. And unfortunately, I was a tad late with my freeze, so my Rune Giant died. If it stayed alive, I definitely would have won the game because then all my cards would have been boosted too. But either way, like I just am relentlessly spamming him so that he can't pressure me at all. I went Rune Giant here just in case he zapped those Skellies, and then Evo Eye Drag, and then Freeze for this Dark Prince ability. And I know Fireball Zap doesn't do enough. I just Arrow to be safe. He tries to predict something on the left side, but either way, we got the dub. And you guys can kind of see how dumb this deck is. Like, I don't really have a win condition, but Rune Giant has so much HP, and just Evo Evarbs, Freeze, and Evo Hydrag are so busted, like, you don't need a win con. Alright, next game we're up against Friend, who's my friend, unironically. Definitely one of the best lava players in the world. I would say third best lava player behind Dominic and Rockon, but like he's super good. Especially with this version, his like lava, Skarmy, Fireball Snowball deck. I feel like no one is even as close to as good as him with this version. And this matchup, I played him earlier in the day, so I already knew what he was playing. And this matchup is definitely good for me because I have eye drag freeze. And in any situation where you're in a mirror matchup, okay, so I'll call myself there. I went E-Barbs opposite lane because he just used his Skarmy. If he did not use his Skarmy, I would not have gone for the E-Barbs opposite lane. I would have just, set up with something in the back to defend. But now I just go eye drag on the lava. He goes Snowball. I just freeze here. Without Snowball, he doesn't really have another reset. And then I go split Skelly Drags to deal with the Skarmy and help out with the pups. Unfortunately, the eye drag didn't help out with the balloon, and I was late with the arrow, so the balloon got the last hit. That was really sloppy for me, because if I was just like a half second earlier with the arrows, we would have saved that last balloon hit. And I had enough elixir for it. I don't know why I just didn't go for it. I go Demolisher here just because I want to force him to spend Elixir to take my tower. I don't want to just give it up for free. And I go Demolisher in front because he doesn't really have, or sorry, Rune Giant in front of the Demolisher because Demolisher is like the most annoying card for him. If he doesn't have his minions in cycle, he kind of has nothing for it. So we get quite a lot of damage. He goes Lava in front just to make sure he takes the tower, which is a good play from him, but I know I can't defend it, so I just let it go. He goes Loon opposite. I was like, alright, that's fine. I'll just go Skelly Drags. He snowballs my Eye Drag, which is really good from him, so that my Eye Drag dies and his Lava's tanking for both towers. And I have neither of my air cards, so I have to freeze this Loon and then get my Eye Drag down, like, as fast as possible. He goes Evo Scar me, so I have to arrows that. And the King Tower is getting so much damage with the 3 minions behind the pups. But he goes for this balloon. I think this was a mistake. I can just go Tombstone to the side, and he doesn't have anything to distract me. And he went for a Fireball. I think that Fireball was super big overcommitment. So I just go Demolisher, Rune Giant. I don't want to go E-Bars because I'm afraid of his Skarmy, so that's why I went Demolisher instead. And I go Freeze. I think maybe instead of going Freeze, I should have just went Skelly Drags to kill the minions because the minions prevented my Demolisher from connecting. And I knew he was going to go in here, but I knew he had a Skarmy in cycle, so I didn't want to go E-Bars. And then he played his Skarmy in the pocket. Huge mistake, and he had nothing else for my E-Bars, and yeah, GG. Um, he honestly he played that really really well because this matchup is so good for me. What I was saying before is that if you have a eye drag mirror matchup where one person has freeze and the other person doesn't, the freeze player will always have an advantage because I can freeze his Evo eye drag and then keep my keep mine alive. But yeah, we'll take it. All right, next game against the last, which I did not even recognize this guy's name. And at this point, I was like number 7 in the world. So, I recognize most people that are in the top like 2 to 300. So I was very surprised to face this guy. But as soon as I saw Duchess Tower, yeah, I knew it had to be Giant Double Prince. This is really the only deck that uses Duchess. Um, and this matchup is also pretty good for me Of course, they put in E-Barbs instead of Prince because E-Barbs are just turbo busted, so it's good in every deck. And Tombstone is really good against him. Obviously, iDrag is good against any tank deck. And with him only having Mega Minion for air, it gets really annoying to, deal with both of my dragons. Like, he can fireball my Skelly Drags, but then he can't fireball my Demolisher. And then he has to go Mega Minion Zap on my Inferno Dragon, but if I do a good job protecting it, he has a hard time killing it, so definitely a very good matchup for me. But I made a big mistake here. I should not have cycled that Demolisher because this is where Duchess really helps him. Because of Duchess, he can just ignore that and take, minimal damage. And basically, I just threw away 4 Elixir with that, and he has his Evo E-Barbs in cycle. And I was like, yeah, I cannot defend this. I didn't even go E-Barbs here because I knew they would just get shredded by the Dark Prince and E-Barbs. But I mean, I had to here because I was going to get 3 crowned if I didn't. But unfortunately, I misplaced them so that the Dark Prince was splashing both. So the E-Barbs basically die, and we take a ton of damage on the King Tower. This is quite literally the worst possible situation that this could have ended up for me. In a good matchup, let me just say. Like, this is not a bad matchup at all. So I was like, damn, bro. Like, I'm I'm like 1 or 2 games away from number 1, and I'm about to choke this easy matchup. But then he goes for this giant at the bridge. I think this was a big mistake because I just had my Evo iDrag, and it's like, yeah, he can zap and get a couple of hits, but I have a massive counter push now with my Evo iDrag still alive. And this is where Duchess really hurts him because this Rune Giant is going to take so long to die on the left. I can go E-Barb's Freeze on the right. He cannot stop this. He can Fireball. Or he doesn't even Fireball, he goes Dark Prince, which is smart, but he has to Zap as well. Unfortunately, I get a really bad Demolisher in the pocket. I was kind of hoping his Dark Prince would stay next to the tower so I could get like a few splash shots, but that was a bad play. I just go Skelly Drags, and when he doesn't have his Mega Minion in cycle, he kind of has to Fireball them because he can't really afford to eat damage. And when he went for this Giant in the back, I knew I won. It's like he just cannot stop it if I just go Rune Giant E-Barbs the bridge with my freeze. Make sure to freeze the Giant before it like gets in range of the E-Barb. His Dark Prince dies, and we get one last hit, and that is good game. Good comeback, but to be honest, like I shouldn't have even been in a position where I needed to come back in a matchup like that, but I'm glad to at least get the win. All right, and this is the last game. This was the game for number 1. I knew if I won this game, I was going to be number 1, but this guy was significantly lower than me. So if I lost, I would have lost like 40 and dropped like a lot of spots. So, really, really stressful game. I don't usually get nervous playing, like even in like pretty big matches, but I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous here. Um, and I know what he plays. Like this guy has been playing the same like P.E.K.K.A balloon deck for like years and years, like 7 years. I feel like at this point. Um, and I don't know. This matchup is tricky for sure. I wouldn't say it's bad, but you can definitely lose, and single is quite annoying. And him having E-Wiz, E-Wiz is definitely one of the cards that can cause a lot of problems for this deck. Um, Obviously, because I don't have a big spell, so if he gets a good E-Wiz to reset my iDrag, and I have a bad cycle, things can go south very fast. But here, I just go Tombstone, and his deck really struggles against Tombstone. That's the best card for me. And then I just go Skelly Drags here. I know he doesn't have a big spell. I feel like he used to have arrows in his deck, but I guess he took it out. But for whatever reason, I remember him having arrows, so I'm glad he doesn't have that against me. And here I thought I was up a decent amount of elixir, so I felt like I could freeze here and take out the baby dragon. I knew he was going to E-Wiz, but I still get a lot of Rune Giant damage, but I still think the freeze was a little bit of an overcommitment because now, like, I cannot really defend this. I have to go, like, Demolisher first because otherwise the E-Wiz would have, like, retargeted, um, and, like, the balloon would have tanked for it, and then I go Skelly Drags here, but he like, I put it right into his NATO for the Demolisher. Like, I don't even think he was trying to predict anything. He was just gonna NATO the Demolisher back, so that's unfortunate timing. I just go Rune Giant for this Dark Prince and Eye Drag behind it. I know he's gonna Elis, so I go E-Bar's opposite lane to make it annoying for him. And then Freeze as well, because I knew he was gonna Elis, and then if he went Elis, he wouldn't have enough elixir to defend the E-Barbs. I was like, I need to try to get back to another freeze um, to like seal the game here, but I was like, nah, he's gonna freeze here, and then I can't do anything about it. And worse than that, the Ewis stays alive and renders my eye drag useless, so I have to freeze here as well. He goes for a Dark Prince, I have nothing. I have to sacrifice the Tombstone, which, like I said in this matchup, like Tombstone is very annoying for him, so I never want to just like play it into a Dark Prince like that, and now I'm down damage, down elixir, or well, not down damage, but he got a lot on my King Tower and Princess, so not looking too great for me. But I think the later it goes, the better it gets for me because I'll have an easier time, cycling more tombstones and more freezes for his big pushes. I knew he was gonna freeze here, so I wanted to freeze after. In these like freeze mirror situations, you always want to be the second one to freeze, so then you get more value out of your cards. Um, and I went for a tombstone here, thinking it would tank for the balloon bomb, but it didn't. And this is what I meant when I said I was nervous, because like, bro, I'm just like making bad plays. But here I was like, okay, I can go E-bars and then Rune Giant the pocket to tank for the eye drag. If he goes Ewiz, like he's not going to be able to afford P.E.K.K.A right away, so I can, like he has to choose which one. And then my E-barbs get both spears on tower. I go Demolisher in the pocket, thinking maybe I can get an explosion on tower, but I don't, but it's honestly okay, because it kind of kills most of his counter push. I go Eye Drag here to block the lane, E-barbs just to drag the Dark Prince back. He goes Balloon in the pocket, that was bad, but I go Rune Giant in the pocket, which was bad, and Demolisher just to make sure that Dark Prince doesn't charge, just to not take any chances. He goes Dark Prince for the 3 crown. That's smart because I didn't have any ground cards in cycle, so I had to cycle back to my E-Barbs. I had to go freeze, just to make sure nothing happened, and then I didn't know if the Skiller Drag was going to finish it off, so I arrowed just to be safe, go Demolisher just to predict something, and we barely take the game for #1 in the world. Oh my goodness. Insane stuff. And I know, like, I am using a totally broken deck. Like, I usually don't really like using super boosted cards like this, like cards that just came out that are obviously extremely strong, which has been the cycle of Clash Royale for the last 5 years, unfortunately. But this deck, like, it's pretty similar to Lava and like suits my playstyle, so I'm happy, and I'm also happy that like I made my own deck and got to #1 with that. Like that feels good uh, on a certain level. So yeah, I had to share this with you, and I will be trying to upload and create some more content for you guys more regularly. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, just show it one last time because it's so beautiful. Um, yep. All right. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, sub, and comment down below for anything else that you guys want to see from me. And yeah, see y'all later. Peace.